Hello. Yeah, I think now I'm audible, right? Thank you. All right, so we are live now. So guys, let's continue with the discussion of the previous year questions. So till now, we have seen the basic concepts. Question on the basic concepts is what we have seen. There were around 17 questions. We are talking about the last 13 years. So we are taking questions of more than 10 years. We have seen basic concepts, then we saw economic measurements. Here we saw there were around 27 questions. Yesterday we saw money and banking in India. Money and banking in India. Now this section had 56 questions in it. Today we will be seeing economic sectors. From economic sectors, there are around 60 questions which have come in the last 13 years. So on an average, more than 4 questions every year is coming. Okay, so this is what around 40 to 45 questions from the economic sector we will see, and then in the next class the remaining questions of economic sectors, and the final segment will be there, that was socio-economic questions, that again had around 30 questions. So then we will have completed the entire economics previous year questions of last 13 years. Okay, so let's quickly start with the economic sector questions. Now the economic sector questions, when we are talking about, it's pretty simple as to what all it will include. It will include the entire sectors in an economy. So what are the sectors in an economy? The primary sector is there, that is your agriculture. Then you have your secondary sector, that is your industries, plus you have your tertiary sector, that is your service sector. There can be questions on quaternary also, this is also a type of a sector, and quinary sector. Okay, quaternary is the 4th sector, quinary is the 5th sector. In the last 13 years there have not been many questions, but you can expect questions on quaternary and quinary. Simplest question can be, what is quaternary sector, what is quinary sector? Quaternary sector is the 4th sector, and quinary is the 5th one. So majorly this section will deal with primary, secondary and tertiary. So let's get started now. Here's the very first question. The question says, consider the following statements. Consider the following statements. So what are the statements that are given over here? The statement 1 says, India, despite having uranium deposits, so India, despite having uranium deposits, depends on coal for most of its electricity production. Now, is the statement correct? See, the second part is of very common knowledge. Coal is helping us generate most of the energy, most of the electricity. More than 60% of electricity is generated through coal, that is through thermal power plants. So this part is correct. India depends on coal for most of the electricity production, that is absolutely correct. What about the first part? They are basically asking two different facts over here. So what is the first fact they are asking? Despite having uranium deposits, do we have uranium deposits? Yes, we do have uranium deposits. So yes, we do have uranium deposits, but still we depend on coal for most of the electricity production. Clear? Now in the second statement, they would try to give us an argument for that. So let's see what argument they have given over here, or reasoning. Statement 2 says, uranium enriched to the extent of at least 60% is required for the production of electricity. Uranium enriched to the extent of at least 60% is required for the production of electricity. Right? Now, what are the options? The options are A, both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct. So first we need to see whether actually uranium enriched up to 60% is required or not. So statement option 1 says both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, and statement 2 is the correct explanation for statement 1. When can statement 2 be the correct explanation of statement 1? When actually 60% of uranium enriched up to 60% is required, and India does not have uranium enriched up to 60%. If these two things match, then you can say that yes, statement 2 is correct also, as well as the right reason for India not having to depend on coal. But it is very factual, guys. Either you know this or you don't know this. However, UPSC makes it easy for you. I'll tell you how. So as far as the enrichment of uranium is concerned, guys, you do not need 60% enriched uranium. All you need is just 3 to 5% of enriched uranium. 3 to 5% enriched. That's all you need. 3 to 5%. India, generally majority of India's stock of uranium is only 0.5% enriched. Since it's only 0.5% enriched, it's difficult for us to use that, because uranium enriched up to 3 to 5% is required for the production of electricity. How has UPSC made it easy? UPSC has given a very extreme number. So if you have studied about nuclear energy even to a bit of extent, you would know it is not so high. It is not 60%, it is close to 3 to 5. You don't even have to remember exact number. The moment you know it is a single digit number, UPSC has already given such an extreme number that you can understand this statement would be wrong. So statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is wrong. Which is that option? Option C. Statement 1 is correct and statement 2 is wrong. I hope that's absolutely clear. Now, coming on to the next question. The next question says, consider the following infrastructure sectors. Number 1, affordable housing. Number 2, mass rapid transport. Number 3, healthcare. Number 4, renewable energy. Now the question asks, how many, this should be many, how many of the above does United Nations of Sustainable Investment in Infrastructure and Innovation S3I initiative of United Nations focus for its investments? Now, again a very factual question this is, and if you can also see the kind of options that are given. Okay, what kind of options are given? Only 1, only 2, only 3, all 4. So they are not saying 1 and 2, they are not saying 1 and 3, 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3 and 4. They are not saying like this. If this like this they would have said, and if you have got to know that 2 is wrong, then this will completely go away and you get the answer, right? Or at least you could eliminate. Now this kind of options have started coming from the previous year, and here elimination becomes very difficult. And at times, of course, if you know that at least one of them is correct, or let's say get to know 2 are correct, so when you know 2 statements are correct, only one option will go away. When you know 3 statements are correct, only another option will go away. When you right, so still 2 options will remain. So even after knowing 3 of them, let's say for example, are correct, still you will be left with 2 options. So to actually solve it, you need to know about all the statements. That is why it has now become sort of difficult to use the elimination method here. But that is not an issue. Why that is not an issue? Because it is same for everyone. So any guesses what will be the answer here? Consider the following infrastructure sectors: affordable housing, mass rapid transport, healthcare and renewable energy. How many of the above does UNOPS Sustainable Investment in Infrastructure and Innovation Innovation S3I initiative focus for its investment? Any guesses of the answer here? A, B, C or D? So either you know it or you don't know it, but if you have to still think, Okay, we are talking about infrastructure sector, and every sector over here looks like something related to socio-economic development. It's not talking about freight ways, expressways, airports. It is talking about things which will help the socio-economic development of the country. So actually to be and also all four are relatable. However, you still cannot guess it because it may not contain for example renewable energy or healthcare, and may have only this. So you never know. So this is a question wherein either you know it or you don't know it. The correct answer is all four. It consists of four different kinds. The first one is affordable housing, then mass rapid transportation, healthcare system, and renewable energy. All four are a part of the S3I initiative of United Nations. Okay, so I hope that's clear. Moving on. With reference to India's project on connectivity, consider the following statements. East-West corridor under the Golden Quadrilateral project. They are talking about the Golden Quadrilateral project. Under the East-West corridor under the Golden Quadrilateral project connects Dibrugarh and Surat. Now this is incorrect because in the east it connects Silchar, not Dibrugarh. Okay, it connects Silchar. So statement 1 is wrong. The moment you know statement 1 is wrong, this will be out of the picture. Trilateral highway connects More in Manipur and Chiang Mai in Thailand via Myanmar. No, this is also incorrect. It does not connect More in Manipur. Okay. So again, second statement is also wrong. So what is happening? Again, this will go on, but still there is a possibility of one of them being correct. Bangladesh, China, India, Myanmar economic corridor connects Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh with Kunming in China. No, this is also incorrect. So none of the statements here are correct. Now this is also very factual. In economic sectors, especially industrial sector, service sector, you will come across questions which are very factual in nature. Moving on, about 3/4 of world's cobalt metal required for the manufacture of the batteries for electric motor vehicle is produced by. Very interesting question. Now there is a boom of EVs, electric vehicles, right? Now how to remember these things? You can also remember that it's a very poor country which consists of cobalt. 3/4 of the world's cobalt required for the batteries of electronic vehicles. But even if you remember, it's a very poor country. Actually, all the countries are of similar kind of socio-economic development, similar kind of per capita income. So again, you will have to exactly remember it. If they would have given, let's say for example, USA, Canada as other two options, they can be simply eliminated. This cobalt is in a very socio-economically backward country, and that is the Democratic Republic of Congo. Okay, the Democratic Republic of Congo consists of about 3/4 of world's cobalt, a metal required for the manufacture of batteries for the electric motor vehicles. These countries are having such high resources, natural resources, but still are lacking behind because this is being extracted, and the first world or the developed countries are utilizing it, exploiting it. Coming on to the fifth question. They have given ports and its characteristic of, or telling about what it is well known for. So the very first port is Kamarajar Port, first major port in India, registered as a company, largest privately owned port in India. So Kamarajar Port is a first port in India registered as a company. That is actually correct. For ports, guys, all those major 10, 11, 12 ports are there. You should know them in detail, what they are famous for. Okay. So Kamarajar Port, yes, first major port in India registered as a company. Largest privately owned, yes, largest privately owned port in India. Largest privately owned port is Mundra Port. Yes, sorry. This When you talk about Kamarajar port, first major port in India registered as a company. Okay, so this is also private. It's registered as a company, even this is private. Okay, but Mundra port is the largest privately owned port in India. Mundra port is the largest privately owned port in India. Okay, then third is Visakhapatnam port, largest container port in India. No, Visakhapatnam is not the largest container port in India. The largest container port in India is the Jawaharlal Nehru, JLN port, Jawaharlal Nehru port. It is also known as Nhava Sheva. The Nhava Sheva port in Mumbai, or Navi Mumbai in fact, to be very exact, in Navi Mumbai. Nhava Sheva port in JLN port, Nhava Sheva in Navi Mumbai is the largest container port in India. So two statements are right. Okay, so the correct option would be B, that is only two pairs are correct. I think this numbering is, there is an issue with this. Don't worry about this sixth. Oh, sorry, don't worry about this seventh. Okay, so consider the following statements. Statement 1, what kind of options they have given? Here also see the same kind of options are given. So last year a lot of questions have been asked in this particular way. Okay, now consider the following statements. The Stability and Growth Pact of the European Union is a treaty that limits the levels of Stability and Growth Pact of the European Union is a treaty that limits the levels of budgetary deficits of the countries of the European Union. Again, very factual question. Makes the countries of European Union to share their infrastructure facilities. Okay. Enables the countries of European Union to share their technologies. Now, the question is, which one would be correct? Stability and Growth Pact. So they are basically talking about Stability and Growth Pact. Now Stability and Growth Pact, the first statement says the Stability and Growth Pact of European Union is a treaty that limits the levels of budgetary deficit of the country of the European Union. Yes, that is correct. What about the other two? It does not mention about any other thing. Okay, of sharing and all those things it's not talking about. It is basically trying to control or make the fiscal deficit stable. What is so answer would be only one. Now what stability they are talking about? We know the concept of fiscal deficit. So they want to ensure that the fiscal deficit, budgetary deficit do not go out of proportion. So they want to limit that, and they are developing consensus with respect to that among the countries of the European Union. Okay. Now coming on to the next question. Consider the following statements. India accounts for 3.2% of the global export of goods. 3.2% of the global export of goods. Statement 2, many local companies and some foreign companies operating in India have taken the advantage of India's production linked incentive scheme. India's production linked incentive scheme. This is correct. This is correct, absolutely correct. Many local companies and foreign companies operating in India have taken the advantage of India's production linked incentive scheme. It's a no-brainer. This is correct. Now, since statement 2 is correct, but if they would have taken the advantage, this percentage would have been more. So this is not the reason. Statement 2 is correct, but statement 2 cannot be the reason of statement 1. We are yet to figure out whether statement 1 is correct or not. But before that, since statement 2 is very simple, let's understand statement 2 would be correct, but statement 2 would not be the reason. So both statements are correct and statement 2 is the correct explanation. No, it is not the correct explanation. Statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. No, that is also not the case. Statement 2, as we know, is correct. So both options we have eliminated. Now we are left with two options. One of the options says that both statement 1 and 2 are correct and statement 2 is not the correct explanation. Or statement 1 is incorrect and statement 2 is correct. So in both the options, statement 2 is assumed to be correct. We have to now understand whether statement 1 is correct or not. Okay, so what do you think? 3.2%, is it a very high amount or is it a very low amount? What do you think? Would India be trading more than this or less than this? If you have to, if ever you are left with two options, you definitely have to take, definitely have to solve. Why you have to solve? Simply because the probability wise speaking, what will happen is, if you are left with two options, you should solve that question. There is no doubt about it, because negative marking is 1/3 of the total marks, right? And here you have basically 50% chance of getting it right. Okay, 50% chance of getting it right. So 3.2%. Anyone would want to take a guess what would be the exact answer over here? Okay, no answers so far. All right, so let me tell you, they have asked a very specific number. The number is not far away from here, but the number is not 3.2, it has been 3.5%. Okay, slightly different, so it is very factual. You can probably take a wild guess and get it right. So and anyhow you have to solve it since you are left with two options. So the correct option is D, that is statement 1 is incorrect but statement 2 is correct. Moving on to question number 9th. Okay, consider the following statement with reference to India. According to the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Development MSME Development Act 2006, the medium enterprises are those with investments in plant and machinery between 15 to 25 crore. This is definitional. This is again a fact. You can see a lot of factual questions are being asked. So this is correct. When you talk about the MSME Development Act, the medium enterprises are those with investment in plant and machinery between 15 to 25 crores. This is correct. All bank loans to the micro, small and medium enterprises qualify under the priority sector. Yes, you should know what all are the priority sector. For example, MSME is a priority sector. In the same manner, agriculture is also a primary sector, a priority sector. In fact, in last year's budget, even sports for some years was made as a priority sector. Okay, to help development of sports. Now, moving on, the economic cost of food grains. The economic cost of food grains to the Food Corporation of India is minimum support price and bonus if any paid to the farmers plus. So they are asking the economic cost. They want to know whether you know economic cost or not. So the economic cost of food grains to the Food Corporation of India is what? Minimum support price, MSP, bonus if any paid to the farmers plus. So MSP plus bonus plus what? Plus question mark is what they are asking. This would be what? The economic cost. Economic cost equals MSP plus bonus plus what is what they are asking. So is it transportation cost only? Procurement incidents and distribution cost, procurement incidents and charges for godowns, or interest cost only? Again, you should know basically you should know what economic cost actually is. It's very important. So the answer here would be, see, they are saying transportation cost only, no. Interest cost only, no. Procurement incidents and distribution cost, yes. Okay, procurement, incidentals and distribution cost. So under this transportation, this, that, storage, would everything would come over here, and in distribution also transportation for distributing will also come over. Okay, so the correct answer is procurement, incidentals and distribution cost. Moving on to question number 10. Consider the following statements. Most of India's external debt is owed by the governmental entities. No, it is owned by non-governmental, or a better way to put it would be private entities. Most is still owned by the private entities. All of India's external debt is denominated in US dollars. All of India's debt, no, not all. There would be at least some which is not in dollars. There is some amount which is of course not in dollars. Majority of it is in dollars, fine, but not all. So statement 1 is wrong. Statement 2 is also wrong. The answer is D, that is none of the above. Now, the 11th question. The 11th question says that in the context of India, which of the following factors is our contributor or contributors to reducing the risk of a currency crisis? What will be the factors in reducing the risk of currency crisis? The foreign, so number 1, the foreign currency earnings of India's IT sector, yes. Currency crisis when it will have? When we want to repay loans or for imports etc. in dollars or in some foreign currency, but we don't have it. That will be the currency crisis. So anything which gives us more of the foreign currency would help us reduce the risk. So the foreign currency earning of India's IT sector will help. So that is correct. Statement 1 is correct. Since statement 1 is correct, this option goes out of the window. Statement 2, increasing the government expenditure. No, this will not reduce the risk. If the government is spending more, how does it impact? It does not positively impact reducing the risk. So statement 2 is wrong. So this is gone. Now we are left with only A and B. So it depends on the third statement. Third statement is remittances from Indians abroad. Yes. So when any person from abroad send remittances to India, if they are earning in dollars, they send in dollars. Here their people living in India, their relatives and friends would get it in rupees, because here you will be spending in rupees. So what the government does? The government gets the dollars and you get the rupee. Okay, so the dollar increases in our foreign exchange, hence reducing the risk of the currency crisis. So 3 is correct, 1 is correct, 3 is correct. The correct answer is B, that is 1 and 3. Now, yesterday also this kind of a question was there, I think, yes. Now, which of the following is issued by registered foreign portfolio investors to overseas investors? Now, I think exactly this was not there, but some options were there with commercial paper and all. This has some additional things over here, promissory notes, participatory notes, all those things are mentioned over here. So let us understand. Which of the following is issued by registered foreign portfolio investors to overseas investors who want to be part of India's stock market without registering themselves? Okay, so as we can invest in foreign stocks, in the same manner foreigners can invest in Indian stocks. So for foreigners to invest in Indian stocks, they either can get registered, they either can register themselves to buy the stocks, or they can buy the stocks through a registered foreign portfolio investor. So when they buy the stocks through registered foreign portfolio investor, right? So if there is an Indian who wants to be a part of the Indian stock market without registering themselves, then they'll have to buy, get it issued through a registered foreign portfolio investor, right? This is the process. Now what the question asks? The question asks, which of the following is issued? For such investment, what is issued? Which of the following is issued by registered foreign portfolio investors to overseas investors who want to be part of the Indian stock market without registering themselves? So any foreigner who wants to be a part of the Indian stock market without registering themselves, they can get it done through the registered foreign portfolio investor, and the registered foreign portfolio investor will give them a participatory note. It is done through the participatory note. They call it as P notes also, P notes or participatory notes. Okay, this was in news because a lot of people had, this is also an instrument used for money laundering. It is not an instrument for money laundering, but illegally it is used as an instrument for money laundering. Okay, basic, going back to the 5-year plans. Okay, with reference to India's 5-year plans, which of the following statements are correct? From the second 5-year plan, there was a determined thrust towards substitution of basic and capital good industry. Yes. In fact, second 5-year plan, it was called as the Nehru Mahalanobis 5-year plan, and it focused on heavy industries. So statement 1 is correct. When statement 1 is correct, this and this goes out. Let's look at statement 2. The fourth 5-year plan adopted the objective of correcting the earlier trend of increased concentration of wealth and economic power. Yes. It talked about reducing inequality and removing poverty. Reducing inequality and removing poverty. So when you talk about reducing inequality and removing poverty, basically you are talking about correcting the earlier trend of increased concentration of wealth and economic power. Clear? So statement 2 is correct. Still both options will remain. So let's see the statement 3. In the fifth 5-year plan, for the first time, the financial sector was included as an integral part of the plan. No, it was included at a later instant. So statement 3 is wrong. The correct option is option A, that is 1 and 2. This financial sector and all was included during 1991 when we had undergone the LPG reforms. Okay. Question number 14. Consider the following statement. Purchasing power parity exchange rates are calculated by comparing the prices of the same basket of goods and services in different countries. Absolutely yes. I'll explain this concept also to you. In terms of PPP dollars, India is the 6th largest economy in the world. In terms of PPP dollars, India is the 6th largest economy in the world. Now, second statement is a very factual statement. Right, either you know it or you don't know it. Now, when it comes to without PPP terms, India is way behind. Without PPP terms, India is way behind. But the moment you use PPP, India is quite ahead. Okay, the moment you use PPP, India is quite ahead. Now, why is that the case? I'll explain the concept of PPP in order to understand that. Okay, so when it comes to purchasing power, see, I'll give you an example with respect to dollar. Right now, $1 is trending at, let's say, 82 rupees. So for ease of calculation, let us take it to be 80 rupees. So that is the exchange rate of dollar. Right. So the exchange rate of $1 is 80 rupees, but the value, when you talk about value, $1 is equals to only 20 rupees. I'll tell you how. As per exchange rate, $1 is 80 rupees. If you go to the market to buy an ice cream, a particular ice cream X, you are going in the market to buy a particular ice cream X. In India, you can buy it with rupees 80. If you are wanting to buy the same ice cream, same X ice cream in USA, you may not be able to buy it in $1, you would require $4 to buy it. Okay, so that means the exchange rate of $1 is 80 rupees, but the value of $1 is not 80 rupees. It is 80 divided by 4. It needs to be divided by a factor of 4 because actual purchasing power of dollar is very less, not 80. It is close to 20, 22, 25. So that is what purchasing power parity means. Exchange rate may be different, but purchasing power may be different. So as per exchange rate, it's 80 rupees, but as per purchasing power, it's 20 rupees. And this is calculated, of course, by comparing prices of the same basket of goods and services. You cannot compare prices of different basket of goods and services. It has to be the same. Even when I gave the example, I have to give the example of the same ice cream. How can I give example of different ice creams also? It has to be the same. So when you are giving example of similar products, similar basket, same basket of same goods and services, only then you can compare. Okay? So you compare it through that. Now, that is why when India's GDP you talk about, India would be 9th or 10th, right? In terms of 7th or 8th in terms of GDP. But the moment you compare it into PPP terms, India is then the 3rd largest. India is the 3rd largest economy, not 6th largest. Hence, correct option is, hence correct option would be option A, 1 only. I hope the concept of PPP is clear. Okay. Question 15. Among the agricultural commodities imported by India, which one of the following accounts for the highest imports in terms of the last 5 years? Now, the entire world came to India. The Dutch, the Portuguese, the Britishers, the Westerners came to India for what? Spices. So for spices, at least we should not import. We should not be importing, right? We have too much in India. We rather export them. So this is wrong. Okay. Fresh fruits, no. Pulses, yes, but at the same time vegetable oil is also yes. So this too is very close. But if you look at the last 5 years with respect to pulses, you may at times be required to import, at times you may not be required to import. But vegetable oil we are continuously importing. That is why the government is wanting us to produce more of palm oil, more of seeds which gives us oil, so on and so forth. Right? So the correct answer here is the vegetable oils. Now, coming on to the land reforms. With reference to land reforms in independent India, land reforms in independent India, not the British ruled, okay? Which one of the following statement is correct? So they are directly giving the statement. The ceiling laws were aimed at family holdings and not individual holdings. Wrong. They were aimed at individual as well as family holdings. It's not that only family and not individual. Absolutely not. It was made for individual as well as family holdings. So statement A option is wrong. The major aim of land reform was providing agricultural land to the landless. Exactly. This is correct. What was the major aim? The major aim was to provide land to the landless. The situation was very few number of medium and large farmers were there who owned majority of the land, and there were majority of the marginal farmers, landless laborer. The amount of land they held was very minuscule, very small amount. So that is why the economy was highly unequal. So there was high inequality. Now, how to eradicate this inequality? 70% people are in agriculture. So, remove the agriculture inequality, you will remove the inequality. How was the agricultural inequality existing? Because of the unequal distribution or holding of the land. Right? So, what do? You take the land from the people who have a lot and give it to people who do not have it. That is why land reforms came in. The correct answer is option B, but let us see other options also. It reduced cultivation of cash crops as a predominant form of cultivation. as it resulted in cultivation of cash crops as a predominant form of cultivation? No, it did not. Land reforms permitted no exemptions to the ceiling limits, to the limits of ceilings? No, it's very simple. Whenever limits will come, there will be certain exemptions, certain different kinds of ceilings. So this again is wrong. Correct answer is option B. Now, moving on. Consider the following statements. Number 17. Coal sector was nationalized by the government of India under Indira Gandhi. Yes. Correct. Now coal blocks are allocated on lottery basis. No. Earlier it was, now it isn't. Allocation of coal blocks on lottery basis is now gone. How was this lottery base? In fact, I have worked in this to let's say bid for the blocks. So what used to happen is, there will be, let's say, a quality of coal which they will give you. Okay. So this coal is going to come for auction at, let's say, 10:55 AM. This notification is gone. So the big coal like industries who need coal, who want to buy coal, they will have people sitting and bidding for them. So I was one of the person who used to bid for coals. Okay, so you are sitting with a computer system and this bid is about to open at 10:55 AM. I'm telling you how it used to work. Now this is not there. So 10:55 AM it will open. Now if it's 10:30 and all, the server and all will be fine. The moment it's 10:54 and on your computer, on that website on which you are actually bidding, there would be a clock. Okay, and the moment it's 10:55, the bids will open, and trust me guys, within 2 seconds the entire coal would be bid for, this particular kind of coal. Okay, especially some which are more in demand. Some which are not more in demand, you may, let's say, get a chance to bid, you may get it also, but whether you want it or not. So the coal which are very important, they would be sold off, bidded for within 2 seconds, and your bid will not even go through. Okay, so you have to bid, the prices and all are set, you have to bid. Whoever bids the fastest gets the coal. Now it depends on your computer, on your internet, on your servers, on so many factors, it depends, right? One thing was, whenever a lot of people are opening this site to let's say bid, what happens is the clock of the website stucks or becomes slow. So when I was bidding, I was winning the bid every single time. Why? Because I was not following this clock. I had my own stopwatch, and even if this clock shows, let's say 10:54 means 54 minutes past 10 plus 54 more seconds, but it is possible this clock has slowed down, so it is actually 10:55. So what you do, have another clock which actually shows you the exact time and bid as per that. It was a simple thing which you could do. So probably the idea is to make you understand how the bidding thing worked. Now this bidding process has been stopped. So statement 2 is wrong. Statement 1 is right, statement 2 is wrong. So this is out of the picture. This is also out of the picture. This is also out of the picture. So the right answer would be option A, 1 only. But still, let's look at the statement 3. Till recently, India imported coal to meet the shortages of domestic supply, but now India is self-sufficient on coal production. No. Okay, India is still not. So the correct answer is option A, that is 1 only. Moving on to the next question. Among the following, which one is the largest exporter of rice in the world in the last 5 years? Largest exporter of rice in the world in the last 5 years. Now, Vietnam, Myanmar will not be there. It is between India and China. Any guesses what will be the right answer over here, whether it's India or China? See, the confusion may lie between India and China, but China is way behind India, so there is no confusion. India is the largest exporter of rice in the world in the last 5 years. In fact, because of India being the largest exporter in the world for rice, in Economic Survey 2016, not just due to rice, but the type of products we export to the world. The type of products we export to the world are water intensive products, meaning a lot of water is required to produce them, right? So in Economic Survey 2016, it was mentioned that India is a net exporter of water. How is India a net exporter of water? Because whatever, let's say you are making rice, you are exporting rice. Now rice requires a lot of water. So you have used that amount of water and produced rice, and you have exported that. So it is as good as exporting the water also. And you are importing things which do not require much of water, for example. Okay. So you are importing certain products which do not require much water. So you, let's say, export 10 units of water, because you are exporting things which require 10 units of water. You are importing something which requires only 5 units of water. So on how much you have lost? You have lost 10 minus 5, that is 5 units of water. So India is a net exporter of water. Okay. Now moving on to the next question. Question number 19. Consider the following statements. Now, arecanut, barley, coffee, finger millet, groundnut, sesame, turmeric. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs has announced minimum support price for which of the following? It has not announced for arecanut. Okay, it has not announced for arecanut. You would know that for barley it is there. Okay, for barley it is definitely there. So one is not there. The moment you know one is not there, it all goes out of the picture. 2 is there. Barley is there. Coffee is not there. Okay, finger millet is there. Barley, finger millet definitely is there. Arecanut, coffee definitely is not there. So 2 and 1 is not there, 2 is there. 3 is not there, 4 is there. 5 groundnut, sesame is also there. Turmeric is not there. So the correct answer is option B, 2, 4, 5 and 6. Now moving on to the next question. With reference to the National Investment and Infrastructure Fund, which of the following statement are correct? It is an organ of Niti Aayog? No. It has been created by the government of India. It is not an organ of Niti Aayog. It has a corpus of 400,000 crores. It's a factual thing. Either you know it or do not know it. You can't do anything about it. It does not have a corpus of 400,000 crore. It has a corpus of 40,000 crore. Alright. So the correct option would be D, neither 1 nor 2. Clear? Let's move on to the next question. Yes. Question number 21. Now it's talking about various marks. Okay, the standard mark of Bureau of Indian Standard is mandatory for automotive tires and tubes. Yes, you would want to have, it is mandatory to have the BIS, Bureau of Indian Standard marks for automotive tires and tubes. Egg mark is a quality certified mark issued by the Food and Agriculture Organization. No. Food and Agriculture Organization is a United Nations body. FAO is a United Nations body. Egg mark is not the mark given by United Nations. It is a mark which certifies the quality of agricultural produce, but it is given by India. Okay. So in D, 1 is correct. Sorry, in 21, Option A is correct. Statement 1 is correct. Statement 2 is wrong. So answer will be A, 1 only. Next, what are the advantages of implementing the National Agriculture Market Scheme? Quite a subjective question, very easy to answer. What are the advantages of implementing the National Agricultural Market Scheme? So what will be the right option over here? It is a pan-India electronic trading portal for agricultural commodities. It is pan-India, yes, that's clear. Electronic trade, yes, it is electronic. It is basically ENAM. The name is ENAM. Electronics National Agricultural Market, under the National Agricultural Market Scheme. It is a trading portal, yes. For agricultural commodities, yes. Correct. It provides the farmers access to nationwide market with prices commensurate with the quality of their produce, yes. So what used to happen earlier is, before this system was not there, what will happen? The farmer would want to sell their product in the nearest closest mandi at whatever price they may get. Now they have an access to mandis throughout India. So they can realize the prices in a better manner and sell where it is giving them better prices. Okay. Moving on to question number 23rd. With reference to the Quality Council of India, consider the following statements. Quality Council was set up jointly by the Government of India and the Indian industry. Yes, it's a collaboration of the government and the private sector. The chairman of QCI is appointed by the Prime Minister on the recommendations of the industry to the government. Yes, that is also correct. Both statements are absolutely correct over here. So answer would be C, that is both 1 and 2. Now, recently India's first National Investment Manufacturing Zone was proposed to be set up. This is a few years back, this question was asked few years back, was proposed to be set up in Andhra Pradesh. Again factual, either you know it or you don't know it. Now, question number 25th. Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. With reference to Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, consider the following statements. So what are the statements? Statement 1. Under the schemes, farmers have to pay a uniform premium 2% for any crop they cultivate in any season of the year? No. It is different for different crops. It is in the range of 2%, 3% and 5%. 2% is for Rabi crops. 3% is for Kharif crops. And 5% is for horticultural crops. So it is saying uniform premium of 2% for any crop they cultivate. Absolutely wrong. 2% for Rabi, 3% for Kharif and 5% for horticultural crops. Horticultural means fruits plus vegetables. Kharif crop example is your rice. Rabi crop example would be your wheat. Okay. This scheme covers post-harvest losses arising out of cyclones and unseasonal activities and unseasonal rains. Yes, absolutely right. So the correct answer would be option B. That is 2 only. That is 2 only. Question number 26. Following the following is the purpose. Which of the following is the purpose of Uday scheme? Now, Uday scheme. The full form of Uday is Ujjwal Discom Assurance Ujjwal Discom Assurance Yojana. Okay. It's in the sector of electricity. For the discoms, the companies which distribute electricity. Okay, the companies which distribute the electricity. Now, what are the options? A. Providing technical and financial assistance to startup entrepreneurs. No, it has nothing to do with startups. It is for the discoms. So the moment you know the full form of this scheme, you can actually get the answer. Okay. So this is wrong. Providing electricity to every household. This is also wrong. Replacing the coal-based power plants with natural gas, nuclear, solar, wind and the tidal power plants for over a period of time. No, this is also wrong. Providing for financial turnaround and revival of power distribution companies. What are discoms? Power distribution companies. The moment you know the full form of the scheme, you will get the answer. All UPSC wanted you to know is the full form of the scheme. Alright, moving on to the next question. In the index of 8 core industries, which one of the following is given the highest weight? How I used to remember this, the highest weight is, out of all the core industries, which industry I will give more importance to? Of course, electricity, because electricity is what I need. So if you also ask that question, the answer would be electricity here. That is a way to remember it. So the highest weightage given is to the electricity generation. In the index of 8 core industries, highest weightage is given to the electricity generation. Now, coming on to the FRP, similar concept like MSP. The FRP, fair and remunerative price of sugarcane, is approved by Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. Commission for Agriculture Costs and Prices, it takes care of the MSP. But as far as FRP is concerned, it is done by Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. Okay. Agriculture Produce Market Committee, APMC, is nothing but to regulation of mandis. Okay. So the correct answer is option A, Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. Now, question number 29th. In India, markets in agricultural produce are regulated under the Agricultural Produce Market Committee enacted by the states. Just now we saw a question and I told you Agricultural Produce Market Committee, it regulates the mandis. Mandis are what? The marketplace. And we have another similar question utilizing this option, giving it as the right option here. Indian markets in agriculture products are regulated under the Essential Commodities Act 1955. No, not under Essential Commodities. Agriculture produce grading and marketing. No. Food product order, meat and food product order. No, absolutely not. But under the Agriculture Produce Market Committee Act enacted by the states, it is different for different states. Alright. Now, next question. Which of the following brings out the consumer price index for industrial worker? Very, very factual question. When it comes to industrial worker, it is brought out by the Labor Bureau. Of course, RBI does not bring out any, no CPI or WPI is brought out by the RBI. RBI is out of the picture. Department of Personal Training also does not. They have given the option also so easy. Department of Training and Personnel also does not bring out any of the CPI or WPI. Department of Economic Affairs also does not. They could have made the options more difficult by writing, let's say for example, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. It may have become difficult, but because some of the measures are brought out by them, but when it comes to the industrial workers, it is brought out by the Labor Bureau. Alright, I hope that's absolutely clear. So guys, let's take a quick break for 5 minutes and then let's continue with the remainder of the questions. Thank you. Alright, I hope I am audible. Let's continue with the remaining questions. So question number 31, let's move on to question number 31. Question number 31 says, now this is I think a 2015 question. It asks about schemes which are quite old, 1996, 97, 74, 75. Okay. Why I am pointing this out is because a lot of people ask, sir, up to which year we should do the current affairs. So the most optimum time would be do it for 1 year, 13 months I would say, right? If you still have time, you can go one month behind, but 1 year or around 13 months is, I think you have to be thorough with that. Now these kind of questions can also be asked. Probably this might have been in news at that time due to some reason. So again, even if this is an old scheme, that may still be in news, so it will anyhow get covered. Okay, so now coming on to this question, the Accelerated Irrigation Benefits Program was launched during 1996-97 to provide loan assistance to farmers. So all you have to know is what the purpose of the scheme was. Was the scheme for loan assistance to farmers? No, absolutely not. The scheme was not for loan assistance to farmers. The name, the Accelerated Irrigation Benefit Program, why it was brought in? Because there were certain irrigation projects of the government, right? So there were irrigation projects. Now these irrigation projects, see, the government starts the projects and it keeps going on, but it does not end. There are delays, right? There is a stoppage. So the government wanted that whatever irrigation projects are going on, let us finish them off as soon as possible. And for that purpose, for completing the ongoing irrigation projects, the Accelerated Irrigation Benefit Program was brought out. Okay, it was not about giving loan assistance. Statement 2, so this is wrong. Statement 2 says the Command Area Development Program was launched in 1974-75 for the development of water use efficiency. Yes, to improve the efficiency of the use of water, the Command Area Development Program was launched. Statement 2 is correct, hence the correct answer is option B, 2 only. Okay. Coming on to 32, with reference to the Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency Limited, IREDA, with reference to the Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency Limited, which of the following statement are correct? It is a public limited government company. Yes, it is a public limited company, it's not private. It is a non-banking financial company. Yes, it is a non-banking financial company also. Also as in it is. Okay, it will provide financial services as well. So the correct answer would be both of them. Okay. Now, in India, the steel production industry requires the import of what? So the steel industry may require all of them, but which of them they require as an import, right? So remember just now we were doing that India utilizes, basically India uses coals for producing electricity. Thermal power plants is there, more than 60% is done through coal. Now all the coal is not available in India, some coal is imported also for certain other reasons also, and the answer lies here as well. Certain steel industries, not certain steel industries, actually steel industries, they require coking coal. They require coking coal for the blast furnace. Steel is made in a blast furnace and coking coal is required in the blast furnace. This is the blast furnace, where you extract ore from the steel. Okay, that is called as the blast furnace, and in the blast furnace you require coking coal, and that coking coal is required to be imported from abroad, right? So in India the steel industry requires the import of coking coal. C, that is coking coal. Now, moving on to the next question, 34. What are the significances of practical approach to sugarcane production known as the Sustainable Sugarcane Initiative? Now, what is the problem with sugarcane production? See, sugarcane is a water intensive crop. Since it's a water intensive crop, it requires a lot of water and it should be grown in regions. Of course, the soil fertility is there, but apart from soil fertility, the presence of water should also be there. If it is grown in areas which are low in groundwater, drought prone areas or low groundwater levels are there, it will create an issue because the groundwater will not replenish and it will keep on going lower and lower, right? So it needs to be grown at proper regions with respect to the soil, with respect to the availability of water, so on and so forth, right? Now that does not happen. Why? Because the industries, sugar industries, the sugar factories are concentrated in some regions, and those sugar industries are in certain regions wherein water is not much. But then sugarcane you will grow there so that there is not much loss of the quantity of sugarcane when you transport. The transportation is also easier, cheaper, faster because it's closer. All those factors are there. Hence, we are talking about the Sustainable Sugarcane Initiative. The question asks, what are the significances of practical approach to sugarcane production known as the Sustainable Sugarcane Initiative? 1. Seed cost is very low in this compared to conventional method of cultivation. Yes. Talking about organic seeds, seed cost is less. You can reuse as in you need not buy it from outside from any international firm. The Indian seeds are used. Drip irrigation can be practiced very effectively in this. Yes, drip irrigation can be practiced. What is drip irrigation? Irrigation is one thing, drip irrigation is another thing. So what is specifically drip irrigation? It is that form of irrigation wherein you will have like this pipes laid out. In the ground, pipes are laid out, and when the crop is growing, the drip irrigation provides water to this root of the crop, root of the crop, root of the crop, specifically there. In general irrigation, what will happen? A pipe will be there and it will throw water like rain. So water would be everywhere. But in drip irrigation, it specifically goes to the required area and nowhere else. It will not be here. It will not be here. It will go to the root area where the plant actually needs it. So it is a very effective method. There is no application of chemical inorganic fertilizers at all in this. There is. This is wrong. There is, to some extent, the requirement is still there. If you talk about no chemical fertilizer and all, it will become completely organic, but that's not the case in Sustainable Sugarcane Initiative. They talk about reducing it, but not completely stopping it. So 3 is wrong. Since 3 is wrong, this is gone, this is gone, this is gone. You are left with only one option, that is B, 1, 2 and 4. But still, let us look at the 4th statement. The scope for intercropping is more than this compared to the conventional method of cultivation. Yes. This initiative also talks about intercropping, agroforestry, all that things could be done. What is intercropping? Growing some other crops also between. Agroforestry, growing trees in between. So how do you grow trees in between? How does it help? So let's say you are growing a crop, then a tree. Then crop. So the tree, not so close, there would be more distance. Tree helps in soil erosion. So what you will do, the boundary you will have trees, and here you will have crops. So these trees will help you when there is flood. It will not let the chemical fertilizer completely run off. It will help in soil erosion. Plus the trees will also give you fruits. That is another benefit. Moving on, question number 35th. In the context of the affairs of which of the following is the phrase special safeguard mechanism mentioned in the news frequently? Special safeguard mechanism is mentioned in the news in the context of World Trade Organization. They are talking about the special safeguard measures in trade. In trade against dumping. What is dumping? Dumping means, let's say in our country there is a particular product that is produced at rupees 100. Now let's say India devalues its currency, or India provides 80 rupees of subsidy for production of each unit of this particular product. So what will be the cost of this product to the producer? Just rupees 20. Very less. And now I can export it. Now in another country this price is just 20 rupees. Why 20? Why am I able to sell it at 20 or let's say 25 by earning some amount of profit? Because the government has given a higher subsidy, a very high subsidy on this for me. So when the government gives very high subsidy to me, or the government will devalue the money, my products, my exports would become cheaper, and now I can send my export to a particular country, and people there would want to have it because it is very cheap. But is it cheap because my efficiency increased? No. Due to technological advancement? No. Due to any specific patented method that I am following? No. It has artificially happened due to the presence of either the subsidy or devaluation of currency. Now in such case, if this is happening and I keep on giving my product for exports in another country, that would be called as dumping. And to safeguard against such dumping, special safeguard mechanisms is present in World Trade Organization. What can the other country do? The other country would say, okay, you are dumping it at 25 rupees when actually the cost should have been 100 rupees. Not a problem. I will charge you 200% of tariff. So 200% tariff as in 50 rupees more tariff, or let's say 300% tariff. So 300% tariff on 25 rupees means 75 rupees tariff. So it will become what? 25 plus 75 equal to 100. I am charging this tariff under special safeguard mechanism because I claim that you are dumping your product. Now the other country would claim no, I am not. Then this issue would be taken to the dispute resolution mechanism of the WTO, and that will give a final decision. Now moving on to the next question, 36th. Which are the recent policy initiatives of the Government of India to promote the growth of manufacturing sector? If you are talking about the growth of manufacturing sector, they are asking which of the policy initiatives the government has taken to promote the growth. Setting up of National Investment and Manufacture Zone, yes, we saw that the first was set up in Andhra Pradesh. This was also a question. Providing the benefits of single window clearance, yes, single window clearance, one single form, one single application, and single window clearance directly. Don't have to fill multiple forms and give application in multiple places. Establishing Technology Acquisition and Development Fund, yes, this is done for technological advancement. And this is also going to help. All three are correct. Okay. Now, in India, the overall index of industrial production, the indices of 8 core industries has combined weightage of, in IIP, the indices of 8 core countries have combined weightage of 37.9. Which of the following is among those 8 core industries? So you should know all the 8 core industries without fail. This is absolutely required. Now, which of them are core industries? Textile is not a core industry. This is very simple. Fertilizer is, cement is, natural gas is, refinery product is also there. But if you know textile is not, this option is gone. You should know that cement is, so this option is gone. Now cement, fertilizer, natural gas, they both are there. The option is 5, you know 5 is not there, so this is also gone. So guys, UPSC has made this option very simple. The moment you know textile is not there, this is over, this is over. The moment you know cement is there, you get the answer. Okay, but you should know all the 8 core industries, electricity and all is also there. Moving on to question number 38. Despite having large reserves of coal, why does India import millions of tons of coal? Okay, fine, it's a good question. We have millions of tons of reserves of coal. Still we are importing. Why? Let's see. It is the policy of India to save its own coal reserve for the future and import it from other countries for the present? Absolutely not. In fact, the idea is to move away from coal based, have more renewable energy. That's the future. We are not saving as such, right? So one is wrong. The moment you know one is wrong, it was very logical also. It was not very factual to know that one is wrong. You directly get the answer. But let's look at the other statements as well. Most of the power plants in India are coal based and they are not able to get sufficient supplies of coal from within the country. So reserves are there, but then you have to extract, and the production is also a completely different thing altogether, which is not sufficient, right? Steel companies need a large quantity of coking coal which has to be imported. We saw this in another question, right? So the correct answer is option B, that is 2 and 3. With what purpose, sorry, moving on to question 39, with what purpose is the government of India promoting the concept of mega food park? What is the purpose or what is the objective? Okay, to provide good infrastructure facilities for food processing industry, yes. To increase the processing of perishable items and reduce wastage, yes. A lot of them goes to waste also. If you process, they'll stay for longer and that would be utilized, wastage will be reduced. To provide emerging and eco-friendly food processing technologies to the entrepreneurs, yes. Another statement they could have given, help increase farmers' income. It helps. Now the food would be processed. Whatever agriculture farm produces there, it is not sold directly to the consumer, it will be processed. Since it will be processed, it will be finally after processing would be sold at a higher price. So the farmer can also realize a higher price when they sell it. Okay. So even that is one of the objectives. All the statements are correct. So the correct answer is option D, that is 1, 2 and 3. Moving on to question number 40. Consider the following statements. The union government fixes the statutory minimum price of sugarcane for each sugar season. Yes. Sugar and sugarcane are essential commodities under the Essential Commodities Act. Yes. Sugar and sugarcane are essential. Now, why is sugar essential? Of course, sugar, salt, these are essential. Now, why sugarcane is essential? That is because sugarcane is used to produce sugar. So, that's why sugarcane is also under the Essential Commodities Act. C, both are correct. Moving on to question number 41. Which of the following is not a feature of limited liability partnership of the firm? Partners should be less than 10. Okay. Let's look at all the statements first. Partners should be less than 10. Partnership and management need not be separate. Yes, they need not be separate. This is a feature. Internal governance may be decided by mutual agreement among partners. Yes. It is corporate body with perpetual succession. Yes, perpetual succession would be there. In limited liability partnership, that is LLP. LLP is basically one method of partnership or company. Like you have private companies, In the same manner you have LLP also. Okay. Now the thing is, statement 1, partners should be less than 20. Now that's not the criteria, because if you say less than 20, it can be 19, it can be 1 also. So with 1 it will not be possible. You need to have at least 2. Okay, when you have at least 2, then you can have a limited liability partnership. At least 2 partners. Now less than 20 means 1. It also means 1. So 1 is not correct. Hence partners should be less than 20 is not what the requirement is. The requirement is there needs to be at least 2 partners. So this is not a feature, hence this is the right answer. The SEZ, Special Economic Zone Act 2005, which came into effect in February 2006, has certain objectives. In this context, consider the following statements. Development of infrastructure facility, yes. Promotion of investment from foreign sources, yes. Promotion of exports of service only, no. Promotion of export of goods as well, not just service, no. Okay, so 3 would be wrong. Since 3 is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, and statement 1 and 2 are correct. So the correct answer is option A, that is 1 and 2. Moving on to question number 43. With reference to the international trade of India at present, which of the following statement are correct? India's trade at present, which of the following are correct? India's merchandise exports are less than the merchandise imports. No, India's merchandise imports are more. So 1 is wrong. India's imports of iron and steel. India's import of iron and steel, chemical, fertilizer and machinery have decreased in recent years. No, it has increased. So 2 is also wrong. So the correct answer would be only statement 3, that is C only. Let us see what it is. India's exports of services are more than its imports of services. Absolutely right. 3 is correct. India suffers from an overall trade current account deficit. That was the thing previously, but due to the increase in services and all, overall trade deficit we do not have. We have recently gone into a small amount of surplus. So this is wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Correct answer is option C, that is 3 only. The term West taxes, intermediates, sometimes found in news refers to West Texas intermediate, sometimes found in news, refers to a grade of crude oil. There are different grades of crude oil. One of the grade is West Texas intermediate. With reference to trade related investment measures, that is TRIMS, trade related investment measures, TRIMS, which of the following statements are correct? Statement 1, quantitative restriction on imports by foreign investors is prohibited. Yes, that's correct. Quantitative restrictions on imports by foreign investors is prohibited. You cannot restrict the import quantitatively. Okay, you can say that this is harmful, that is harmful, that's why you will restrict, but you cannot restrict on the basis of quantity. So 1 is correct. This is gone. They apply to investment measures related to trade in both goods and services. No, only in goods. They are not concerned with the regulation of foreign investment. That is correct. So the correct answer here would be option C, that is 1 and 3. Alright, this option is correct. So I believe we have completed 45 questions of economic sector. In the next class, we will deal with the remaining 15 questions, plus we will take about 32 questions of socio-economics. Okay, so in the next class, the remaining 15 plus 32 questions of socio-economics will take it, and that will conclude all the previous year questions of the last 13 years for economy. Alright guys, so thank you so much, study well and all the best.